All right, on today's episode, we're continuing to build out the outdoor barbecue station, and now I've got to figure out what kind of countertops you can use. There's a large variety. A great one that you'll see in the stores today is Butcher Block, because they do the glue up on at the manufacturer, and you can just get it to size, cut it to where you want. It's a quick and easy way to go. Just make sure you treat it with heavy poly or some type of resin countertop on top of that so that it's waterproof. What I've chosen to do is match the deck, and my decking is a Brazilian hardwood, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to carry the theme of the deck boards into the countertop. So I'm going to have a grill here and a grill here, but I've got to create a countertop for them to rest on, and got a couple issues with the wood already that I wanted to show you, and I want to compare. My intention was to get 4 boards here and glue them tightly to each other. If you look at this shelf, it's called a glue up. You need some good bar clamps and good edges on it, and then you just take multiple boards, glue them together, and they become a solid shelf. But when I got into the hardwoods here, I noticed that the boards are starting to warp. So if I wanted a flat surface, you'll notice that this middle board has high corners on it. So either that side's down or this side's down, but you're not going to get a flush flat surface. So instead of doing a glue up, I've decided to anchor these to the cabinets to help draw them tight. And if I nailed it, it wouldn't stay tight in the cabinet. So what you want to do is you want to take a screw, because what you're trying to do is pull those corners down to get the surface flat. So use screws that have a cabinet style head on them, because that'll lay flat against the wood, and once this catches, it'll start to draw it down. So what I'm going to do is install these temporarily. So drill it first, because anytime you're within 2 inches of the end of the board, you want to pre-drill your holes, because otherwise it'll likely crack. So pre-drill your holes here. Use cabinet head screws to anchor it down and pull it down where you want it to. And then once I've got it all in place, I'll come back and replace those with countersunk screws so you can't actually see them. But I will leave these in place to kind of get the boards where I want for probably a week or 2. All right, so now that I can't do a glue up, I've got to deal with rainwater and moisture coming between these seams. So I wanted to show you a couple products and a couple different ways to go. You've got plastic wood, which is more like a hard putty. You can nail into it, you can screw in it. It's great for filling holes and cracks, but it doesn't move with the wood. Your wood is going to grow and shrink depending on the weather, time of year. So this stuff is going to crack on you if you try to use it within a long seam like that. So what you're doing is you want to use something that's a more silicone-based caulk to fill those cracks, to keep the water out. So we'll use something like this. Make sure you're getting something that's intended for exterior. There's a lot of varieties here, but once we get these boards in place where we wanted and tacked down, we'll fill all the seams with this on all the edges and between the boards. The last thing I want to point out is, because I had to cut all of these with a skill saw, because I don't have a big enough chop saw to cut these off evenly, the best thing you can do is leave an overhang here. When this cabinet's finished, these boards will be flush with the outside of this cabinet at 48 inches. But what you do is you cut them all long. So they're all cut about 49 inches and they're inconsistent. But then what you do is come back with your skill saw when you're done, do a chalk line where you want it, and then do a smooth, even cut across all 5 of the boards. That way you get a very consistent edge instead of trying to cut them all by hand individually.